With technology advancements getting smaller every year, is it worth it to upgrade to the new iPhone 15 Pro? Let's dive into the new iPhone 15 and 15 Pro to see which phone is right for you. Or should you just hold on to your current phone a little bit longer? The new iPhone 15s that aren't Pro are great for those that want to get some of last year's Pro features without paying for the exclusive features you find only on the iPhone Pros. And one of those features that was exclusive last year to the iPhone 14 Pro is that now the iPhone 15s have dynamic islands. The new standard phones got rid of the notch at the top, and now it has a little pill on top that interacts with notifications. You're able to get some of the new iOS features with the updates. You can interact with the dynamic islands, and that's a great feature for the baseline iPhones. And not only that, but it's a visual difference on the phone, which in my opinion, anytime a company changes the appearance or the look, to me it can be way more valuable than updating some software or some perks of the technology, because people can see the visual difference. They'll see, oh, you have the dynamic island, that looks like a newer phone. The notch has been around for a while. Visually, having the dynamic islands adds more value to the customer because people will know that you have a new phone. The camera got an upgrade as well from the Pro, and now the main camera has a 48 megapixel sensor on there, so you can take high definition photos on there. The 48 megapixels is more than enough than you'll ever need size-wise. Your standard phone can now do a 2x telephoto, so while you still only have 2 lenses on there, you can do a 2x, do your standard 1x, and you still have your ultra-wide camera on there. And each of these cameras have their in-body stabilization, which is great. They're getting down to the level of GoPro or an action camera. For me, it makes it even harder to justify buying a GoPro because I can always have my iPhone in my pocket, which is more convenient than carrying a separate camera. One of the biggest differences with going with a non-Pro phone is you get a large variety of colors. So if you're someone that likes to express themselves with colors that are brighter than the Pro phones get, then the iPhone non-Pro may be more important to you to express yourself that way. But let's dive into the Pro phones to see what the difference is between them and the standard phones this year. So again, look at the cameras, did some big stuff this year compared to last year. They took the main camera and they said, hey, how can we make this more easily accessible for people to use? They added 3 different focal lengths for the main camera. Now you get a 24mm, you get a 28mm, and a 35mm. So for a lot of standard shooters, 24 and 35mm is pretty normal on a regular DSLR or mirrorless camera. So for those photographers, they may feel like they're getting more out of it just by switching it around instead of manually zooming to get the shot they want. Also on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's only on the Max version, they upgraded the Telephoto Lens. So now you have a 5x telephoto, which comes to 120mm, which is actually really cool because at the old 3x, it still wasn't quite the zoom, but if you're someone that likes to go outside and you're trying to zoom in on somebody or at a subject far away, 120mm gets you a lot closer, and it's optical zoom, it's not digital zoom. It should maintain that quality, but a lot of time you don't get the same aperture as compared to the main camera. So your main camera is still going to look the best, but now you have a telephoto lens that goes to 120mm, which gives you a lot more options. And then of course you still have the wide angle lens, which is great from the prior years as well to get you those unique shots. But it's interesting looking at the cameras this year. On the main camera, which is your best camera on the phone, the standard iPhone 15 actually has a lower aperture, meaning that it's letting in more light, which can add more clarity, give you a little bit more depth of field. And it's not very much. It's on the iPhone 15, it's 1.6 aperture. On the iPhone Pro, it's 1.78, so only 0.18 difference as far as the f-stop. So I wonder why the iPhone 15 Pro did that. It could be now that on the regular iPhone 15, it's a 26mm focal length, but on the Pro, it's now 24mm, so it's a little bit wider. So maybe they had to change the sensor based upon the lens, and they had to sacrifice a little bit of the f-stop. But overall, you probably won't notice a difference between 1.78 aperture to 1.6. It may just been a technical difference they had to do. Both phones are going to shoot great pictures on the main camera, which is exciting that no matter what your budget is, you're getting a great camera on both. The battery life's also a little bit interesting too. So on the Pro line, you get 5 hours more for video playback, which makes sense. You got a better GPU, it's probably processing stuff a little differently. But if you're listening to audio on the regular iPhone 15, you get 5 hours more than on the Pro phone. I think that maybe is that the Pro is more suited for performance using that A19 Pro chip compared to the iPhone 15. And that could be what's changing. Again, it's not 5 hours. Isn't a big difference when it's rated for 100 hours or 95 hours. Speaking about graphics performance, that's where the iPhone 15 Pro did get a great update for those who like to play games or maybe are dealing with 3D rendering. The iPhone 15 Pro now has ray tracing, and ray tracing helps with reflections in 3D environments. They look more realistic, actually reflecting what's in the environment instead of an artificial reflection that's done a couple different ways to simulate reflections of windows or glass. But with ray tracing, you're getting that performance boost, and it has the compatibility to add that to games. So if you're a gamer and you want the latest and greatest, best graphics for your device, and developers are starting to use it, the Pro may be right for you to get that best experience. And of course, one of the biggest updates this year for the iPhone 15 Pro is now it is made out of titanium. It's lighter, they say it's stronger. So it's a beautiful piece of work. That's what the pros go for, is you're paying for a premium product and the way it looks. But the interesting part is they've been advertising a lot that's stronger, but the back is still all glass. So for me personally, I probably still won't trust it without a case. So you have this beautiful phone and I end up putting a case on there that just looks ugly compared to the phone itself. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to take the case off and enjoy the full beauty of the phone and be worried for years that I have that phone, hoping I don't drop it and it breaks the one time I drop it. So one day. And then the last feature on the Pro, it's not new, but it's only exclusive to the Pro phones, and that's 120 Hertz refresh rates. And for me, this is the big one. I love the way it looks on the iPhone Pros, where if you're swiping through internet websites, swiping through your apps, or just interacting on any app for the most part, it's a very smooth process compared to the 60 Hertz on the regular iPhone. Should you buy the iPhone 15 Pro? So that depends. The iPhone 15 starts at $800 compared to $1,000 for the Pro. And the main differences between those phones is you're not getting the 3x zoom on the 15, and you're not getting the enhanced GPU. So if you're a gamer, you may need that. And then the last thing is you're not getting that refresh rate of 120 Hertz. But if those things are important to you, then I would say go with the iPhone 15. That's a great value. It's a great phone for most people. But if you want to get the iPhone 15 Pro Max, that's going to start at $1,200 to get you that 5x telephoto lens, the bigger screen. And that's $300 more than the iPhone 15 Plus, which starts at $900. Will I be upgrading my phone? Probably not right now. I may do it later in the future, or I may even wait till next year. But what I am going to upgrade is my Apple Watch. So a couple days before they announced the new Apple Watches, my Apple Watch Series 1 finally died on me. It still works if I plug it in, but the screen finally popped off, which honestly, you could probably just glue it back on and it would work just fine. But I've been making this last as long as I could and didn't feel a need to upgrade it. But now I will be upgrading my Apple Watch. Make sure to subscribe to see which Apple Watch I'm gonna upgrade to. And if you like this video, make sure to watch this video on if you should buy the Apple Studio and is it worth it for the price. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.